secrets, dust, memories. But Claire inherited something else, a home that remembers her, one that listens, and something that never truly left. Welcome back to Midnight Mysteries. This is part two of The House That Hears You. Leave the lights on, if it'll help you sleep. Claire didn't sleep the next night. The doll sat motionless on the table, but she swore its position changed when she blinked. She threw it in a box and stuffed it in the hall closet. Still, something in the house felt different. The mirrors showed rooms she wasn't in. She passed by the parlor and saw herself standing, still in the reflection, watching. By morning, her nerves were frayed, but the house, it was awake. The wind outside didn't move the trees. The air inside pulsed like breath. And then came the knock. 3 slow knocks at the front door. No one stood there. Just the cold, and a smear of mud on the porch. Bare footprints, small, like a child's, leading away from the house and into the fog. Claire stayed inside. The journal haunted her, especially one page she hadn't noticed before. Folded tight against the binding, it was covered in symbols, the same ones from the walls of her room. Underneath them, a single phrase, written in red. Don't speak to it. Don't let it know you hear it. But Claire had heard it, again and again. And now, it had started whispering her name. Each night, the voice got closer. From the attic, from the vents, from behind the walls. It wasn't just in the house. It was the house. She tried to leave, packed a bag, grabbed her keys, but the car wouldn't start. The engine clicked, then died. The road back to town was shrouded in an unnatural fog that swallowed sound. Her phone had no signal. Not even GPS worked. It was as if the house had pulled her into a pocket of forgotten time, and the world outside no longer knew she existed. That night, the whispers changed. No longer just her name. They formed words, full sentences. Don't leave me again. I remember the boat. The storm didn't kill them. I did. Claire froze. The house knew. It had always known. Her parents, the storm, the disappearance. She ran to the basement. Something had changed down there. The air was thick and the walls pulsed with damp heat. In the far corner, behind the old furnace, she found a door. One she swore never existed. It opened by itself. Inside was a room lined with mirrors, but none of them reflected her. They showed her parents, arguing, her mother crying, her father yelling, and then a shape behind them. Something tall, faceless, with limbs like branches and eyes like whetstone. It moved with them. Then the mirror cracked. Each one, all at once. Behind her, the door slammed shut. Claire screamed, but it was silent. She turned. And there, standing in the mirror's reflection, was the doll. Only it wasn't porcelain anymore. It had skin, and it smiled. When Claire woke, she was in her bed. Morning light streamed through the window, but it felt artificial, like theater lighting over a stage. The closet door creaked open slowly. The doll was back, sitting neatly on the floor, its mouth wide. Inside was a human tooth. Claire fled the room. The journal fell from her hands and opened to a page she'd never seen. The house needs a voice. That's why it took the others. That's why it brought her back. To listen. To answer. Claire began tearing through the house, room by room, screaming at it, daring it to show itself. And it did. Every wall cracked open, the wood splintered like ribs, and from inside the walls came faces. Familiar ones. Miss Isabel, her parents, even her own reflection, dozens of it, all whispering in unison. Stay, stay, stay. She blacked out. When she woke, it was night. She was standing outside. The house was gone. Only the fence remained, perfectly intact. She turned. Behind her stood a new house. Same structure, fresh paint, and a little girl on the porch, holding a doll. Claire tried to speak, to warn her, but no sound came out. She looked at her hands. They were porcelain. And in the window, she saw herself smiling, waiting, listening. The house doesn't just listen, it remembers. And when you hear it whisper your name, it's already too late. Thanks for joining us on Midnight Mysteries. If you haven't yet, subscribe and turn on notifications, because in the dark, some stories find you. We'll be waiting.